Which milk should you choose? When it comes to milk, they are not all created equal. Whilst traditionally cow's milk has been the go-to choice for many Australians, these days there are so many different milks available. We have soy, oat, almond, and a huge array of others which are on the market, and it seems like another day goes by and there's another type of milk that you can access. So which milk should we choose? It really depends on you, your individual requirements, and also how the specific milk has been made if you're choosing something which isn't your traditional dairy-based milk. First though, let's have a look at the nutritional composition of cow's milk or dairy milk, and that's the one on the left-hand side of the screen that you can see here. So you can see, compared to the other ones, it is a little bit whiter in colour. Now, cow's milk is a really good source of protein. It naturally contains calcium, which is really important for building healthy bones, as well as an array of other nutrients which are really important in your diet. Now, if we start to look at soy, oat and almond, the nutrient composition starts to vary quite significantly. When we think about why milk and other dairy products are encouraged to be consumed, it really comes down to the calcium content that they have naturally. And by having just a cup of milk, that will give you around a third of your daily calcium requirements. That isn't necessarily the case though when you start to move to the plant-based options. So they aren't all created equal, as I mentioned. So soy is generally the most similar to dairy when it comes to the nutrient composition. So it has similar amounts of protein, and many of the options on the market do have calcium added into them to fortify them to make it so that they are also a really good source of calcium as well. Most soy milks do have a bit of added sugar, but if you think about it, cow's milk has sugar in it anyway because of the lactose, which is the naturally occurring sugar. When we look at something like your oat milk or your almond milk, both of those are significantly lower in protein than your soy or your dairy-based options, and again, may or may not have been fortified with calcium. So if you are going to choose any of the plant-based options, I would really strongly encourage you to make sure that you check the label and ensure that it's been fortified with calcium. And if you are choosing something like an oat or an almond milk, ensure that you are getting enough protein in other places in your diet because you're choosing those options as your source of milk. The other thing to think about is it an allergy, or is it an ethical thing, or is it an intolerance? So a lot of people have shifted away from cow-based milks because of the lactose in them, which can cause a bit of a tummy upset in sensitive individuals. So any of your plant-based milks would generally be suitable for people in that instance. It's important to remember though that you can choose a lactose-free dairy-based milk as well, which can be a really great option for some people. That said, there's some people who are allergic to dairy products, so again, would need to be choosing that plant-based milk. And again, you can choose any of the ones that I mentioned earlier or one of the other ones on the market, just as long as you're ensuring that it does meet those nutritional requirements of having been fortified with calcium in particularly being important. If it's an ethical or an environmental thing, things change a little bit here. So often people go, I'm not going to choose the dairy because of the issue with the cows, but also because of the environmental impact that the dairy industry has on the environment. It's really interesting though when you start to look at the research around this, and at present, almond milk is actually the one that has the biggest impact on the environment, and this is due to the water that's required to grow the almonds and then turn the almonds into the almond milk, which is usually about 2% almonds and the rest water. As always, there's other options where there is more almonds in the milk, but the general supermarket ones that you can buy, that's usually around where they sit. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to your own personal preference and your own unique needs. I don't think that any of the milk options that are on the market at the moment are a hard no. The only thing I would say is make sure that you are choosing one that has that calcium added into it. And you also don't have to choose the same one every time. There's nothing wrong with drinking one type of milk, say with your coffee, and then another type of milk on your cereal, or if you're making a smoothie. Or you might switch between different ones just depending on what you feel like that particular week, or maybe even what's on special at the supermarket. I hope that's been really helpful and helped you to choose the best milk for you.